Hey,
Hello.
hey,
Hey, girl. Hey.
hey. I'm Victoria Campbell, co founder of the Black MS Narrative Project.
And I'm Mimi Cowens, co founder of the Black MS Narrative Project. Welcome to our podcast.
Yes, welcome, welcome.
Yay. I'm excited about our show today. I'm excited
Yes.
about all of our shows, but it's really exciting when you can talk to someone who is works in the medical field. I know, it's us. It's been me and you know, of course, kicking this thing off and talking to a variety of different people, but when you get to talk to somebody that works in the field, it's amazing. So,
It
in case you're
really
new
is.
to our show, right? Let's tell everybody about the show. In case you're new to our show, the Black MS Narrative Project is a storytelling collective. We encourage conversations that foster healing, connection, collective power for African Americans impacted by multiple sclerosis or MS.
Right. That's those that are diagnosed, their family members, their doctors, their nurses, their friends. We want everyone a part of the community to help heal the community.
And
Absolutely.
because Victoria and I are also two Black female creatives, we also know about how our individual artistic expression also provides healing. So we
Hmm.
encourage folks that are watching the show, especially if you're like an actress, a singer, a spoken word artist, or you do anything in the way of the arts, if you're a storyteller, because all of
Yeah.
those are ways of healing ourselves through spoken word or through our art form. So,
Right. So if you're
yeah.
interested in being on our show, we ask that you send us an email at the Black MS Narrative Project at gmail.com. There, provide a brief paragraph just about your story, what you would
Mm,
like to share, what you can offer the MS community, and we will get back to you.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So, before we introduce our guests, we're going to do a little something we call a human being check in. Just to see how we're doing, because sometimes we just jump right on into stuff. Let's just see how we doing, okay? How you doing,
Yeah.
girl?
Oh, yes. This check-in. I love these check-ins because it's a moment to be real, to talk to someone that can relate, that can understand if I have something going on the level that not everybody can understand. Um, for me, girl, God is good just because it has with weather, right? Fluctuating weather at all. I know we've talked about that before, just the way my body reacts, and my voice is super raspy. I don't know what it is. Allergies, who knows? Um, but then I also feel it in my bones and my muscles.
Mhm.
It's one of those times. I'm super grateful though because I do have the opportunity to rest. To
Yeah,
rest. That
to
is
rest. That's so important.
so important. And where I was just thinking about work. Work is awesome. I don't know if I told you I got promoted.
Go ahead.
Yes, and it's amazing because I'm working from home, and even in the promotion, I have the flexibility to
Mhm.
still have that balance to do what I need to do for work and do what I need to do for myself, for healing, for my family, for my husband, for my, Brad is just like, okay, as long as we have time. And I'm just like, hey, babe, we will. Um, so all is well, truly. How
Awesome.
are you? How are
I am
you?
doing well. And it was funny as you were talking and I'm hearing the raspiness in your voice.
Mm,
This is graduation, a lot of folks are graduating and I recently went to my friend's son's graduation and she coughed so much. Like and the thing is that cough is a lingering symptom of something that she had weeks ago, and the lingering thing that's still left behind is this raspy cough. It's
mm,
going around, whatever this thing is, it's going around, and sometimes you might just need a little extra boost, some prednisone or something, just to kind of reduce the inflammation. But like everybody right now I'm hearing coughing, and I flew out to go see her and coming back look, I'm still going to keep rocking my mask on the plane. i
oh,
know
yes.
I know the people say that the COVID is gone. Honey, no, 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 I'm going to keep wearing my mask because everybody on the plane was coughing. So I mean, I get it, and then you've got this raspy voice, and it's kind of like, what's going on? When am I going to feel better? So I hope that you feel
Mhm.
better soon.
Thank
I am doing well. Um, as you know, I recently went to go and see my first physical therapist in, gosh, since being diagnosed, right, in
you.
2015.
Right.
I-
Mhm.
and she told me that the reason that I have this constant, never ending muscle spasm is because it's called a pathologic muscle spasm. And so me and my honey, it's like a part of me. She always there. She always in the background. Sometimes she back here,
Mm.
and sometimes she right here, and she just like yong, 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 yong. So
Mm.
so you may see me moving around because she with me today. But you know what, honey, she ain't gonna stop me today. We're gonna do this thing.
Oh,
And
yes.
I don't let, and I think that's one of the things like with MS, right? People see us and they think we're fine because our disease is invisible for many of us.
Yeah.
But what you have to be mindful of always when you're talking to somebody with MS, you never know what they're nursing on the inside of them. You may be talking to somebody who won't say anything to you, but may have double vision and is seeing two of you, but they're putting on this mask and they're going, okay,
Mhm.
okay, it was good seeing you, and is like freaking out on the inside. So,
Yeah.
I'm okay. I am all right. And I'm just excited about today's show. That's all.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Why don't you tell us about who we have here with us?
Yes. So today's guest is a really, really good friend of mine. And she is a nurse and has been an LPN for 19 years. Um, but what makes her very special to me is that she's not only an LPN, but she has been an MS nurse for 3.5 years, and she is an MS nurse at um, Raleigh Neurology, where I go for my MS care. And so she is just a wealth of knowledge. A lot of times she is on the front lines to kind of like answer my questions before I even get to the doctors. And, because she's so in tune with insurance companies and pharmacies to help get medications improved. She's been around for a while. So she's heard a little bit of everything, and she's always quick with one recommendation or suggestion. And so and she is on the board of the Black MS Narrative Project for our nonprofit. So I'm just really excited to introduce everybody to our own
Yes.
Stephanie Hubbard. Yay! LP and
Hey,
Hi,
Stephanie Hubbard.
Stephanie.
Yay! Welcome to
how
the
are
show.
you?
We're good. We're good.
Yeah,
How
Good,
are
we're
you?
good.
doing
Great, great,
Great.
doing great.
Would you like to give us a human being check-in?
So yes, I'm doing great. Just living the life.
Living this life, lights and
Just
gold.
out here living the life. Yeah,
Awesome.
okay.
Awesome. And you just had a birthday recently.
I did 51.
Come on,
Oh, happy
somebody.
birthday. Yes.
And boy, that black, it just don't crack, does it? Looking all good and stuff. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just gonna jump right in. I
Okay.
mean, folks heard a little bit about you in my introduction. Tell us about your LPN journey and what led you to become an MS nurse.
So MS is very intriguing. There's a lot that goes on in the central nervous system.
Mhm.
My background, I've done a lot of things. And so wanted to add something else. I know several people that have MS, so just sparked my curiosity as far as what the process is and how it goes.
So in the 19 years that you've been a nurse, how do these 3.5 years that you've been an MS nurse differ from the rest of the time that you've been a nurse?
There's always something new in MS. Previously, I did home health and ENT and just different things. And with MS, there's something new, like almost every day. And so I'm just like, oh yeah, what's that? Let me look that up. Right? Like, let me Google and let me study. Even though I tell my patients, Google's not your friend, but like I have to Google so I can give you the answers, right? Or talk to the doctors. So yeah, it's been just challenging trying to keep up with all the new symptoms, the different, patients, and everybody's different. So everything is changing every day, different stuff every day.
Wow. So how does that impact your job? I know you said you need to Google things and understand for yourself before talking to patients, but with that ever-changing environment, how does that impact just your ability to do what you do best as a nurse?
My job is to keep the MS patients calm. I feel like that's my main job, is to keep you guys calm, because, the unknown, of course, is scary. So I try to help you guys with, or MS patients with, just being calm, and giving you some hope as to what the disease brings, what the process is.
So talk to us about the different, of course, we know the different types of MS, but for folks who this may be their first time joining us, talk us through the different types of MS there are, and kind of what you see displayed in patients with those types. And of course, we know you're not a doctor, but you've been on the front lines for 3.5 years. We know that you've seen some things
Changes.
that are changes.
So there's relapse and remitting, and that is where you feel bad for a little bit, and then your symptoms, kind of settle down and you're back to baseline. And then there's secondary progressive, and that's where they don't bounce back as far. So you may not get back to your baseline with the secondary progressive. And then primary progressive is where your symptoms pretty much stay the same. That is the primary progressive is where your symptoms, stay the same and you don't recover back to your baseline. Some of those symptoms are permanent. And so those patients are treated, there's limited treatment for that because the myelin sheath is damaged. And I'm trying to put it in terms for you guys to understand. So the covering of the nerves is damaged, right? And there's if you're not on treatment, then it doesn't repair. So that's important. One is to get treated, right?
So back to relapsing remitting. What are some of the, so I'm relapsing remitting. Okay.
Me too.
And so is Victoria. So, but there's a range in symptoms between the two of us. So there is no one size fits all that you see in relapsing remitting, right? Relapsing remitting, I didn't treat for the first 7 years after my diagnosis. And
meanwhile, I treated right away at 19.
Hers was a more aggressive onset at the age of 19. And she has remained relapsing remitting for, thank God, from age of 19 to now she's 21, but you know what I'm saying? But no, like into her 30s. So what are some of the symptoms that you see typically with people with RRMS?
So mainly, or in the beginning, it's the blurred vision or just decreased vision at all. Peripheral, like their vision is going away. So for that, the MS has attacked the optic nerve. So it's caused inflammation to,
Mhm.
that's the reason why you can't see. You have inflammation on your optic nerve. Also, that numbness and tingling. That's another starter. They'll be like, "Oh, my arm is asleep," or "My legs are asleep." Fatigue is another one. Like you just feel so tired. You're taking, vitamins and stuff, and you're still just so tired.
Right.
So
Even after a
fatigue,
full night's rest,
yeah.
still
So
tired.
fatigue is
Mhm.
is another one. And then difficulty walking. Like you may drag one leg, maybe dragging with the difficulty, walking. So those are some of the symptoms we see with primary progressive. I'm sorry, relapsing remitting.
And balance. Woo!
Right.
Yeah.
I think by the time I went and got my first MRI, I had fallen 3 times
hmm
because I was
Mhm.
still out there in them streets trying to wear stilettos.
Oh no,
Oh, but I thought I could do that thing, and I was like,
Um,
maybe my ankles is just getting weak.
weak. They were weak. Yes,
Oh, they
right.
was weak.
that is
They
true.
was weak, and so was my ego when I fell down the stairs. Wait a minute, I fell. I fell at two. I was in a gown. I was in an evening gown because remember I was a DJ on the Light
Right.
103.9 FM. I think it was like at our Lamplighter Awards, and I wasn't working for the station at the time. I went to go attend one, and I'm in a whole gown, stiletto down, and these were short stairs. It was like 4. I made it all the way up to my seat and went to go to the bathroom down 4 steps and boom, 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 boom.
Oh man.
Shoe went flying off. I was so embarrassed. Thank God it wasn't nobody hardly in the hall. But oh, I had another one. Wearing stilettos, went to go see Jesus Christ Superstar at the what's the center downtown Raleigh? It used to be called the Maimandi Hall, downtown by Shaw. Anyway, where they have all of the big shows that come, the Memorial Auditorium. So anyway, just off Fayetteville Street. Well, anyway, I went and we're walking down this long stairwell, and I just remember it was slow motion. My foot. Now, in my defense, my heel did get caught in the carpeting, but
Okay.
that thing threw me, and it was like boom, 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 boom. Jesus, God, Jesus. Father God, Jesus. I'm trying to grab the rails, and I fell down probably 10 stairs.
Wow.
They had to wheelchair me out. They were scared I was going to sue them. But anyway, so
Oh.
yes, I have fallen multiple times before. I said, let me just go see what's wrong with me. Yeah, my balance
Stop
was
wearing
a
these
big one.
stilettos.
And I can't no more.
Yeah,
If I do
balance for
some
me too. I was so clumsy, tripping over my own feet, but I was just kind of laughing about it. Right. Like silly me, let's just keep going. I was running in the walls. It was I'm like, y'all didn't see that wall? It just jumped out of nowhere. Like
ha 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 ha.
uh-huh,
Yeah.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
So
So
I'm wondering what exactly is it the indicator that it has now switched from RMS to PPMS, to primary progressive?
So normally we treat symptoms. Sometimes we start with steroids. And if steroids, most of the time they help. Going into secondary progressive, they're not as helpful. So your symptoms don't get back to, baseline where you were walking, say, without a cane. You may go now into a cane. Your vision may not be as sharp or gets back. You still may have that blurred vision or double vision more frequently than you had in relapsing remitting. Your balance, all those symptoms are going to get worse. They're not going to fully recover, and you're not going to get back to that baseline.
So do you also find that relapses are more frequent once you go from relapsing remitting to secondary progressive?
Yes.
Okay.
What's a key indicator that you've gone from relapsing remitting to secondary progressive?
When you don't get back to your baseline.
So you can still have the same number of lesions.
Yes.
You can still be on the same drug, which we're going to talk about those in a second.
Yeah.
But symptomatically, you're not recovering and getting back to baseline.
Correct.
Oh, interesting. I think I might need to talk with my doctor a little more, because I like this type of information, these details, I have never had. Right. So when I was first diagnosed 16 years ago, 16? Yeah. They said, oh no, your MS won't change. It's if you're relapsing remitting, you'll always be relapsing remitting. And so, that's just what I knew. And that's what I've lived with, that belief, for all these years. And so now I'm hearing that, okay, of course, there's so much research going on. We're getting answers. We're learning that things are not true, such as this. It's, truly a reminder that we all need to stay on top of just what is happening in the MS world.
Yes.
Yeah, because as you're talking, I'm thinking to myself, do I need to go and talk to somebody? I mean, do I need to make another appointment? And then, it's so much information out there on YouTube and everywhere else. Everybody got an opinion. I've even seen some stuff recently that said that there's no difference between primary progressive and secondary progressive, but that's not your belief. You believe that there is. So let's talk about that one next. So relapsing remitting.
Yes.
Secondary progressive. Now, primary progressive. Now, what are you seeing at this point?
Primary progressive is like the worst phase. Your damage is permanent at that point. And so your symptoms do not return. So over that period of time, your symptoms have gotten worse, and we've treated it. And so now, like, all the covering is potentially gone. So there's no repair or no return to baseline at all. Yeah.
Are people, with all of these drugs we have now, are people still progressing to PPMS? Like, are you seeing less people?
So not as fast. Yes. So treatment helps slow the progression. Like, of course, we know there's no cure. They're still working on it. But the medications all are to help prevent or slow down the progression.
So it's safe to say that with these drugs that are out now, if you start treating early enough, you will likely never get to the PPMS stage. Can we
say
that?
Never. No, won't say never.
So even with treatment,
it's a progression. MS is a progressing disease.
So were you about to ask a question, Victoria?
Yeah, so I was just interested in what you were asking me. You said that you will most likely never, and so you can never say never. There's no cure. However, you're less likely to get to this stage if you do start early enough. And then it's also just based off of how aggressive your disease is, right? Like, because like you said, everyone's different. Okay.
Yeah. Yes. And the number of lesions sometimes plays a part. You can have 10 lesions, right? They can be on your brain. They can be on your spinal cord. So depending on where your lesions are is what part of your body that gets affected, right? So they can be enhancing, which means they're active. So there you have your inflammation and your symptoms, or they cannot be active. And so your symptoms appear to be better. right? So that's good to have your MRIs. And that tells the doctors, like, if you have new lesions, if they're active, the more active, the more times they're active, which is your relapsing, remitting part, the more times that they're active, it's damaging that covering.
Mm-hmm. Gosh, this is
Right.
so good. This is good. So let's talk about medications.
Whew.
As you know,
I'm
for
taking
those of
notes.
y'all who I know, right? For those of y'all who girl, me too. For those of y'all who watched my interview with Victoria tell her story, um, you know that for many, many years she was on Rebiff.
Mm-hmm.
And then from Rebiff, finally, after you went almost kicking and screaming and knocking the door down, and after all of these daggone pseudo exacerbations, you like, this ain't working.
Yeah, well, I had some real ones too. That's the thing. I was moving from doctor to doctor because my husband is military, right? Stephanie, I don't know if you were able to watch that episode. And each doctor said, doing on Rebiff. It didn't make sense.
Mhm.
Right.
So she was on Rebiff
Mm-mm.
for a long time, and now finally, because I think that after Rebiff you didn't get on anything else, and now you're on Ocrevus.
No, I was on Ocrevus. I had
Oh,
an
that's
allergic
right.
reaction to Ocrevus. My throat started closing after I'd been on it for 5 years. So they had to take me off, and I just started taking Kesimpta 3 weeks ago. Mm-hmm.
We like Kesimpta.
Oh, okay, okay. I'm like, that's a good sign.
Yes. So
And oh, I was gonna say it because I'm gonna have you talk about all of them. But I am on Tysabri,
There's a
and
ton.
I just had my 21st infusion of Tysabri. So yes, go ahead and tell us what your thoughts are about all these medications, because you have some opinions.
I do. So medications range from low to high, right? Depending on your progression phase is what they recommend, that you be on. So Rebiff is probably on the lower spectrum of the medication. So there's 22, 23 MS drugs right now.
Oh, wow.
Some of them are already generic, which of course that's what the insurance wants you to take, but it's not,
Mhm.
may not be the same components in it from the brand name. And so therefore it may cause other side effects. But yeah, there are 22, 23 MS drugs right now. 8 injectables, 10 orals, and 5 or 6 infusions.
Mm.
Right.
Oh, wow.
So kind of depending on where you are in your progression is where the doctors will say, I feel like this one better fits, where you are in your progression. What I love about the doctors that I work for is that they give it a shared decision. So they tell you what they want, but they also want to know how you feel. There are so many people who don't know. I am not injecting myself every day. Like, no,
Mhm.
three times a week or whatever. No, I don't want to take a pill every day. Like, who wants to keep up with that? So then
Mhm.
that's where your infusions come in, where some of them are every 4 to 6 weeks. Ocrevus is twice a year. We have a new one, Briumvi, which is twice a year, like Ocrevus.
Right.
So yeah, there are many, many, and I'm sure they're still working on, the chemistry of making new drugs to help. Like it, I can't keep up.
And so, like, Rebiff is probably one of the oldest drugs out
It
there.
is one of the oldest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, the fact that they had her on that for so long was
For
crazy.
so long.
Yeah. Yeah.
With all these new drugs out there, I was trying to take notes too while you were talking. I'm like writing
Now,
notes, but I'm also Googling because you said I wanted to get an accurate number of how many MS drugs there are. But
so I have a question
mhm.
Yes.
with the uh when you say that your doctors have this shared experience with the patient,
Yes.
this is what I recommend, and then right, having this conversation, and I think that's absolutely awesome. I've had maybe 5 different neurologists, and they are not all like that, and it
Wow.
can change the experience drastically, right?
Yes.
um how what do you think about just people, there's commercials now, and there's
Yes.
ads, and people coming to the doctor's office saying, well, what about, this medication that I saw online? How
Hmm.
does that seem to fare when it just comes to that conversation?
Yeah. So we get questions all the time. Like, so of course I retrieve all the portal messages that come through. And a lot of patients see the commercials and want to know, if that's the drug for them. And it's a discussion. They come and they ask the providers, hey, well, what about, say they're on Rebif and they want to go to Ocrevus. So they will look at your progression. If you have no progression, they may keep you the same. If you say, hey, Rebif, I'm needle fatigued, I don't want to keep injecting myself,
Mm.
what are my other options? And so then, okay, well, let's do this infusion. So there's, of course, Tysabri, Ocrevus, Briumvi. Um, there's Rituxan, but it's off black market, black label. So
Mhm.
that's not
Okay.
actually,
Is it experimental right now?
no, it's been out. It doesn't have the, um, what's the word?
FDA approval?
FDA approval for MS.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I found a site on here, basically drugs.com, who said that there's like 70. But I think they're counting things like
Generic. Yeah.
they're
They're
probably counting the
generic.
generics, but I think they're also looking at possibly, I mean, I'm not going to read this whole thing right now, but I think that they're also including in there certain drugs that are specific to like spasticity and
Right.
certain, and stuff
Fatigue.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yes.
you're talking about your main drugs,
Disease
your main
modifying treatment.
DMTs, your disease
Mhm.
modifying treatments that
Yes.
help slow the progression.
Yes.
So I love what you were saying about how Raleigh neurology, the doctors there are very clued in. Thank you, Dr. Scagnelli. That's my doctor. With having conversations with you, real conversations like, okay, I'm not going to tell you what you need to do. Let's talk about it. These are the top 3. He did that with me. He was like, okay, because he knew that for 7 years, I didn't want to medicate because I was trying to have a baby. And
Yeah.
so when I started during COVID, when I started having all these headaches, and Medrol was like, I had the worst experience with Medrol. I said,
Mm.
I ain't never taking that again. I felt awful, y'all.
Mm.
He said, okay, look, well, we need to just stop. I'll never forget. He said, we need to just stop playing Russian roulette here. The marriage is over. We ain't having no babies now. Okay. So the closer you get to 50, MS starts to go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs and rages out of control. This is what he said to me. He said, so we need to make
Wow.
a decision. And I said, okay, well, which one you think I should do? And he said, I like Tysabri for you. Because
Mm.
like Stephanie said, I am not taking no pills. No more pills than I take every day already. And then I got to think about this, 3 times a week pills, bump all of that. So I said no to that one. And then I'm trying to think how I whittled it down. My process of elimination was no pills. And then it was I ain't injecting myself. No, not doing that. I said, okay, Tysabri it is. And then, like you were saying, Victoria, I started seeing all these commercials for MS. I was like, look at the
The
drug
algorithm.
huh?
I said the algorithm
Even just like the algorithm, but like
paying
on
attention to
TV.
you. Mm-hmm,
On
mm-hmm.
TV, I see more of my commercials on TV. So it's like, I mean, you know, they do the whole
Twice a year.
I was
Yeah.
like, okay, 2 times a year. What's that one? The Kesimpta?
That's
No,
Ocrevus.
Ocrevus,
and
Mhm.
yeah.
now Briumvi. So that's a new.
Yeah.
So okay, so tell me like what you've heard what from patients, how they respond to these drugs.
Yes. So, of course, with any medication, even a Tylenol, right, you're going to have maybe a side effect. But for the most part, the patients feel like, you know, they know they'll say, hey, I've been on this XYZ and my symptoms are not getting any better. Like, what is going on? Like, what's happening here? And so then again, there's a conversation of, are you progressing? And we need to change your medication. Or again, those injectables, those are the ones the patients are like, listen, I'm tired of injecting myself. The Copaxone and Rebif, you know, some of those are 3 times a week. You have to
Yeah.
inject yourself 3 times a week. So Kesimpta is an injection. However, it's once a month.
Yeah,
So
that's appealing.
going from injecting 3 times a week to once a month, okay, I can manage that, right? Um, some patients like the orals, where they don't mind taking a pill. They fill their little pill box and they don't mind taking a pill, you know, every day. Me, not even being an MS patient, I would forget, right? So, like,
Any pills. Yeah.
yeah, like I don't take medication. So for you guys that don't take medication, you're gonna forget to take that pill, you know, unless you have that pill box and you carrying it around in your purse or in your car, you know, you carrying these pills around. Um, and then you have your people who are like, nope, I ain't doing none of that. I want to come less as possible. Listen, less as possible, one and done, stick me one time and
Yeah.
I'll see you in 6 months, right? So
Hmm.
um yeah, so it's just a variation of what patients want to do as far as their route of medications. Your more high efficacy medications is going to be your Ocrevus and your Kesimpta and your Tysabri. Those are the ones that are like covering, like, nope, you will not get in here and damage nothing else. That's your umbrella of.
It's interesting that those aren't, well, I'm guessing because, like you said, the side effects, but I'm just wondering why someone wouldn't want to just start with the most covering. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. So if you're minimal symptoms, you're not gonna, what's the word I'm looking for? You're not gonna want to put, you're not gonna put a cast on a
On a
broke
paper.
fingernail
Yeah.
or a
Mhm.
paper cut, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
You're not gonna put a cast on a paper
yeah.
cut, right? So that's why it's the different phases or levels of efficacy for the medications as well. You could have one lesion, right? And it can be active and it's causing havoc. So they may put you on or try to put you on an oral or an injectable.
What's crazy is all of my lesions are non-enhancing. I've never had any lesion become active. Thank you, Jesus. Knock on this wood table. However, I have become more symptomatic since taking my infusions. But I take it, I just kind of go, okay, well, I know it's helping. I just hate that I'm dealing with more chronic pain. Um, And so then Stephanie recommended a rather experimental drug that's new, that is being kind of newly used. Now, I don't think it's new, but it's being newly used in the setting of MS. And I did an Acthar gel um, injection for 5 days. So talk about Acthar. Like y'all are doing more and more of that.
Yes. So Acthar is for our patients. It is still a steroid, right?
Okay.
It just acts
Or
more
steroid
with your
light.
body chemistry versus the actual infusion going into your vein.
Okay.
Hmm.
See, I thought it wasn't a steroid, but it acted like a steroid.
It's a steroid,
It is
but
a steroid. Okay. Okay.
sorry, my daughter's dog is barking.
Oh
Oh,
Lord, Onyx, it's okay.
that's all
Onyx,
right.
chill out. He is mad at grandma.
His
Got him
mom,
put
his
up.
mama's leaving for work, and he.
Oh, that's all right. My dog is over here just sleeping at my feet, and we get it.
Yeah, the first 2 minute or two when she walks out, he just loses his mind.
Oh, look,
Oh,
is he in a cage?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Look,
Oh, baby. So
130,
okay, so I really.
pounds. Yeah, he got to be in a
Oh,
cage
Lord, yeah, it's
for
a
oh.
right
big
now.
boy. It's a big boy. So I want to
Mhm.
get into this, okay? Because of
Okay.
course, us being, the Black MS Narrative Project, we talk about how this disease, in fact, impacts African Americans. What has been something that you've seen? I mean, of course, you are at a specialized center,
Mm-hmm,
okay,
mm-hmm.
where insurance, most people that come there are referred by their primary care physician. So
Right.
insurance is something that plays a part. You do have some folks that pay out of pocket, but it is an expensive place to go and be treated.
Yes,
Okay.
it is.
And so, um, from a human health disparity standpoint, you might not see as much from a financial differential, or maybe you do, but what are some of the things that you've seen in differences in how we approach the disease versus other folks?
Um, the delay in treatment, ignoring the signs,
Hmm.
say the blurred vision. Oh, well, it could be, you know, high blood pressure. We blame it on something else. And then
Mm.
we don't go to the doctor to see because we've self diagnosed. Oh, maybe my blood pressure's up is why I'm having blurred vision.
Mhm.
And so just ignoring the signs. The numbness and tingling. Oh, well, I might have slept wrong. Just ignoring the signs
Mhm.
of why or what you have going on. And then, of course, the symptoms may get better. So then you clearly are like, oh, it was what
I
I
don't need
thought.
to. Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't need to
Black
do
folks are notorious for self-diagnosing. Well, my mama had headaches, and so did my grandmama, and so did my great grandmama. So it's hereditary. We just get headaches in my family. We all have bad knees in my family. I mean, my
Mhm.
mama had blurred vision, so I mean, I got it too. And so, like, what's the big deal and stuff? We
Yes.
quick to do that.
Yes. Yes.
So, so, so by the time you see some black folks get to y'all, they are probably more progressed in the disease
Yes.
than they would have been had they sought out treatment earlier. And
Yes.
how does that make you feel? Do you ever say anything from like, sis, don't be, why you wait so long, sis,
Yeah.
Yes.
listen.
Yes. And the men too, because then they blame it on, you know, it's the distrust, right? We
Mhm,
don't go to the doctor because we don't trust them. Like,
mhm,
and that's where I see a lot of people who are misdiagnosed or not diagnosed at all because not going to a doctor. I'm just not going. This is gonna get better. You know, again, the family history. Well, mama had headaches and daddy fall down all the time. It's just we blame it on we blame it on family history.
right.
You know, MS. can be hereditary, and it doesn't necessarily have to be.
Yeah. And
So
I was told initially, part of my 16-year journey, that MS was not hereditary. And here we are. My sister was recently diagnosed, and just having those conversations about my children, like, what does that look like? What does it feel like? How? And I know there's still so much more research being done,
Yeah,
but you're right. It doesn't have to be, but knowing that it can be is crucial.
and it can be. I was
mhm.
talking to a patient, and she was like, "Oh, my mom's there today. She has MS, and your doctor sees my sister and my aunt." So,
My second
Mm,
cousin. She,
yeah,
though, again, she's struggling with saying the words. There's a lot of denial with us too.
right.
yes,
We do not want to accept this.
yes,
And we do not want to call it that. And I mean, look, I went to multiple doctors trying to get an answer for this pathologic muscle spasm, because it's got to be spinal. It's got to be, okay, I'm gonna go see a radio frequency nerve doctor who can kill the nerve. That'll kill it. It grew back. I mean, like, this thing right here wants to stick with me forever. But in the name
Mhm.
of Jesus, it's gonna go one day, but not today. But it's just like, you are incessant if you're someone like me who's a researcher. Okay. And that's something that you're big on. If you're someone who is like, I am going to keep advocating till I find an answer, I'm going to keep searching, I'm going to keep, what you'll find in your journey is that somebody in your family likely is dealing with the same symptoms. And my second cousin is dealing with very identical symptoms to me, and hers is more progressed because she won't go, and
The doctor.
she'll go to the doctor, but then she won't accept what they're saying. And so then
Mm,
there becomes this, all right, well, I'm gonna just, I'm not gonna take nothing. Ain't nobody ever said no, that I need to do this. And they said this and they said that. And I'm like, girl, it's MS. I know that that's what it is.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
mm,
So, and then with that distrust, what is your opinion about clinical trials?
yes. So because there's not a lot of data for African Americans, like, we don't get into those clinical trials. So when you're diagnosed, please ask your providers, is there a clinical trial that's out, that I
mhm.
may be suitable for? And of course, they're going to say yes, because there's no data, or not a lot of data. All the data we see comes from Europe,
Mm,
like
Mhm.
other countries. They're not testing or not doing anything in Africa, right?
Mhm.
So
mm.
we need to get into those clinical trials so we can get data to help other Black people, right?
Mhm.
So I actually signed up for with the National MS Society for them to
Yes,
send me whenever there is a research opportunity, and I constantly get them. And some I qualify for, and some I don't, based off of
yeah,
whatever the qualifications are.
right.
But yeah, they're like you said, talking to your doctor, asking them directly, signing up to get information from trusted resources.
Yes. So we have a research team in our building.
Oh,
So yes, I say, yeah, always ask, is there, research team, or, a trial? Had a patient last week ask about this clinical trial, you know?
What's going on? Give me this the tea. Is there one going on I can get involved in?
We can ask Dr. Scagnelli. We
Okay.
can ask. Yeah,
Awesome. Awesome.
absolutely.
So I want to take a moment. If you all are liking what y'all are hearing, if you all are like, oh my God, this is so rich. I know like 3 people who have MS. They could learn so much about this. Y'all, please like, share, subscribe to our channel, to our YouTube channel. Spread the word. We want the Black
mhm.
MS Narrative Project to become a movement. We want Black folks taking an active interest in their health, and we want them to advocate for themselves. So please like,
Yes.
share, and subscribe. to our channel. Y'all, we're talking to Nurse Stephanie Hubbard today. She is a nurse with Raleigh Neurology. She is my boo thing. I love her to death, but because I mean, and it is so important, y'all, to find you all a Nurse Stephanie, where you all are getting treatment, because I've caught you in tears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I just felt sometimes so defeated in not being able to get the answers that I'm looking for, or why is this still happening? Why am I still hurting like this? And why hasn't this, because there was a moment where I had a lapse in my Tysabri injections, and I felt it. When you stop, if you don't stay up on your infusions or your injections or your medications, y'all, you can make life really bad for yourself. So
Yeah.
don't stop. Don't stop taking the medications.
Yes.
And it's interesting
Yeah.
that, Mimi, you said that you've never had enhancing. It's really that you've never caught on film that they were enhancing, but you have, because
Oh,
you've had these symptoms and you've had that
oh,
yeah, those feeling. Yeah.
I did not know. See,
Mm.
again.
I was gonna say that.
We was here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I was
basically,
gonna say that.
if I'm hurting and I'm having chronic pain, they're enhancing at that time.
Possibly, because
Mm.
what happens is you have, when they're enhancing, you have this inflammation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Even as a person without MS, inflammation is going to cause you pain.
Hmm.
So yeah.
It's interesting because I actually went to my neurologist like a couple weeks ago, and I went just for my normal, hey, every 6 months we're gonna come together and talk. And she did my physical, and I said, I'm feeling a little off today, but I'm fine, I'm fine. And when she had me follow her finger, she said, "Are you? Do you see double right now? Is your sight blurry?" And I was like, "No, wait a minute, yes." Right. And she said, "I could see that in your physical before your brain was able to register." So she said, you may not realize it, and we're not going to take an MRI because you have some enhancing lesions. You're going to start taking the medication right now. We're not even going to do steroids, right? We had this whole long conversation about what to do next, but right, we didn't need to see it on the film to know there's some enhancement going on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had a bout with optic neuritis a couple weeks ago.
I remember that.
Hmm.
I remember that she was sitting in the car and she said, "Mimi, can you see it?" And I could.
Hmm.
Mhm.
We were on not FaceTime, but Google um
Duo, something
Duo.
like that. Yeah.
And because she doesn't have an iPhone, but it was but yeah, her eye was moving a little bit.
I just
Hmm.
graduated. Don't worry about it. I was team Android forever, and amen. Listen.
Oh,
But yeah, what I will say is that don't ignore your symptoms.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is the main thing. And I know it's scary. Like, I don't have MS and it scares me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel empathetic. Yes, that's the word. Um, because so many different things are happening, and I want to help you guys understand why, and where you are in your progression. And you said something earlier about um, acceptance. That's big.
Oh gosh.
And I know, like, it is huge. And that's where I come in. So my first thing I say is, yes, you have this, but you can live with it. It is
Mm.
manageable. It is manageable. Like, men don't do well. Sorry, guys. Men don't do well at all. Like
Wow.
they are the ones we coddle the most and hug, and because you know I'm the head of my family. I can't do this. And
Yeah.
so you can, right? Like, and that's where they won't have the treatment. They put it off. No, I don't get the treatment, so you can still be the king of your castle. Like, we need you to stop the progression so you can continue to do the things that you want to do in life. It is very manageable.
When
Just
you said
getting.
that, it made me think about Michelle Obama and her father.
Mm-hmm.
She watched her father struggle with MS his whole life, and he went to work every day, um, through his pain, through his discomfort, and he never stopped. And I think he ultimately died from complications with MS. I
Complications.
want to say he was in a wheelchair, so it's very. I I don't. I'm not shocked by what you just said
Yeah.
about men.
Mhm.
Men, brothers, please,
Brothers,
please,
brothers, please.
please go and get treatment. I do see a lot of black guys. Like, one thing I'm gonna also say too, if you are taking a DMT, people, listen, get in a Facebook group for your DMT. I
Yes.
am
Oh,
in
yes. Find some
a
community.
fine community. I'm in my Tysabri group. Now, it's not all African American, but I love seeing us show up in spaces like that. And it's a bunch of brothers in there, and we all post a picture of ourselves, getting our infusion, and then we'll put like hashtag whatever number we
Huh.
have. And so we have, we cheer each other on and call out each other like Tysabri warriors and stuff like that. So I'm so glad you said what you just said. It's just a
Mm-hmm.
great note to leave us on. So, guys, again, if you all are liking what you're hearing, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell every time and then that way you'll be able to you'll be able to be notified rather when you hit the notification bell. And you'll know when we're going live, which we haven't yet, but we will be
But
soon.
we will.
Um, mhm,
And of
mhm.
course, and we are getting our nonprofit off the ground. We are really excited. And if you would love to donate toward the cause, toward just building this community, we do have a Cash App, cash tag the BMSNP, Black MS Narrative Project. We are looking
Mhm.
forward to starting our in-person initiatives, to starting our online groups and support and whatnot. But of course, that does take some
We're just getting
this.
started. So I
Yeah.
love that you all are growing with us from our
Mhm.
infancy. But again, it does take support, even paying for our StreamYard subscription, right? Like, if somebody out there wants to donate to take care of that for us, or, things like that cost, because we both work. I'm a small business owner. I own a spa, and my girl Victoria is a military wife, and she works from home, and she's got two beautiful small babies. So it's like, help us, y'all. Help us help you. All right. So
Yeah.
again, our hashtag, our cash app is
Hashtag. Mhm.
$ the BMSMP. And so
Merchandise.
yes, and that helps us to order merch, like this beautiful mug here.
Oh, where's my shirt?
I
I'm
know.
ready for some merchandise.
We're gonna
Oh,
get you
show my
some
shirt.
as a board member. You're gonna get some merch first. I'll get you some merch. Look at that. You got the shirt out.
Oh, yes, we have mugs, we have tumblers, we have shirts so far.
Mhm. Yes. I get you one, boo. We have to place an order. But it costs money. So send us some money, okay?
I sure will. I sure
Thank
will.
you.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Stephanie, for being with us today, for imparting such amazing knowledge, for helping to give us hope, to help.
Yes.
I mean, I learned some things. I learn some things every time we're on. Even
Mhm.
just hearing from you, Victoria, that yeah, you think they weren't enhancing, but yeah, they were,
They
sis.
were.
They are. They just
Mhm.
weren't caught on that MRI. So
Mhm.
like those are the things that like we want to get this knowledge out. We're all about empowering, okay? Igniting healing journeys and healing together. So
Yes.
with that, we're gonna end this show, y'all. Let's heal
Yeah.
together.
Let's heal together. Thank you,
Let's heal
Stephanie.
together.
All right, y'all take care. Bye
All right.
bye.